Hi guys, it's Emily from Novel Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my October TBR. Now, you would have already seen on Friday, just gone, that my Victober TBR. When you add it to this one, I'm looking at around about 19 / kind of 20 books. And I was originally, about a year ago, only setting it as 15. But I know I get through about 30 a month. Admittedly, my Victober books are very big. So you might see that on my wrap up part 1 in October, I might not be adding as many books as I did in September. But that's okay. I wanted to pick books that really stood out, that I really want to shout out, because I know this TBR tends to get more views than my wrap up part 1, and you don't always get to sort of see the kind of books that I want to read. So I really wanted to focus in this TBR on books that I'm excited about for October. I also wanted to have, I think my Victober TBR is shorter than normal because I wanted to really remember to be gentle on myself. And this is definitely the case for this month because, yes, this TBR is big, but it's full of books that I'm super, super excited about. I've got 2 buddy reads. I've got my Victober favourite author. My reread is kind of loosely on like the Tent of Walpole Hall, which I'm doing for October, but I'm not, again, stressing too much. I'm not going to sort of push myself with all my goals. I think going forward, that's going to be something that's going to be definitely be a little bit different in next year. But that's next year. We'll talk about that in December. But I have got some books that are connected to Victober because they're sort of some fictions that are connected, because that kind of just gets me in the vibe, but just at the same breath gets me excited. So I think, to be honest, let's just see what the TBR jar is going to do. The TBR jar in September was really good. It gave me the On the Come Up, which I bloody loved. I've only got 4 books left on this, and there's 3 months of picking, so there'll be 1 book that will be carrying on. I love the TBR jar. I'm really going to keep that going. But let's see what the TBR jar is going to do. I'm really going to shake it up really completely, and let's see what I pick. Okay, I'm literally going to go with whatever it says. Oh, the Lilac Girls. Oh, that's one I'm really excited about, actually. So that's another historical fiction. But that's the Lilac Girls by Martha Call Kelly. This was all over BookTube a few years ago. And I know that Krista from Bookshin Jams loved this. And I know that a lot of people have spoken about it. It's quite good that it's actually in October, because at the end of October, November time, we have got, obviously, coming up to, like, the war memorial days and things like that, and I know it talks about, we think about war quite a lot in October, and this book is 480 odd pages, so it is a longer one, but it's really had really positive reviews. It's based on a real life story of a New York socialite who championed a group of concentration camp survivors known as the Rabbits. This acclaimed debut novel reveals the story of love, redemption, terrible secrets that were hidden for decades. I don't want to know too much. I know that Lilac Girls is something that is, like I said, the fact it's based on a real event really does make it impactful. Caroline Faraday is a former Broadway actress and liaison to French consulate whose life is forever changed when Hitler's army invades Poland in September 1939. And then it sets its sights on France. An ocean away from Caroline, Kazia Kaminska, a Polish teenager, sinks deeper into her role as courier for the underground resistance movement. And in Germany, Hertha Oberschauer, a young doctor, answers now for a government medical position, only to find herself trapped in a male-dominated realm of Nazi secrets and power. The lives of these 3 women are set on a collision course when the unthinkable happens and Kazia is sent to Ravensbrück. That's a concentration camp. I know a lot about that. So this is going to be hard-hitting. This is going to be emotional, but it's one I'm really excited about. So that's the TBR jar pick. Now, let me show you my 2 buddy reads. I've got the first one. It's a nice short book, but it was in my autumn, books for the autumn. And this is the X Hex by Erin Sterling. It's kind of like a supernatural kind of contemporary. So I'm not really normally into supernatural, but I know this book intrigued me, and I know I've got the sequel to it, so I'm hoping I like it. I'm reading it with Cats from and I can't remember Kat's channel name, and it will link it down below. Kat from Brews and Reviews. My brain has had a freeze, but Kat is lovely. I really love buddy reading with her, and this looks like a really fun one. You broke my heart, Reese Penhallow, and we will curse you and your whole stupid hotline. Vivian Jones handled the biggest breakup of her life the way any witch would do. Vodka bubble baths and a curse on her ex. Ooh. That was 9 years ago. Now, Reese Penhallow, a descendant from the town's founder, Breaker of Hearts, is still irritatingly gorgeous, and he's back. Reese has returned to the quaint town of Graves Glen to recharge the ley lines and make an appearance at the annual Fall Festival. When his every move results in calamity, Vivi realises her hexing her ex might not have been so harmless after all. It's fun, it's short and sweet. This is the one I'm starting the month with, because it's going to be quite a good one to start. It's like 300 pages, but it looks really good. Then I'm going to get down to the next Seven Sisters book, which I'm reading with Gaia. This is massive, and I've got to double check with her when exactly we're reading it. And it's look how big it is. And this is Electra's story. Now, Electra is is the last sort of sister we know about, and obviously we've got the missing sister next. And she's a cowbag. This is 821 pages, so I might have to message Gaia and maybe try and read it a bit sooner, because there is no way I'm going to get through this. Yeah, that's quite a lot of pages to read in a day. But I'll talk to her and we'll find out how we're going to do it, because it is massive. To the outside world, Electra Delapise seems to have it all. As one of the world's top models, she's beautiful, rich and famous. Yet Electra's already tenuous control over her state of mind has been so rocked by the death of her father, Parcel, the elusive billionaire who we know about Parcel. All of those around fear for her health. Struggling to cope, she turns to alcohol and drugs. As for those around her, they fear for her health. And Electra receives a letter from a stranger claiming to be her grandmother. And this is then the other timeline is going to be in 1939. Cecily Huntley Morgan arrives in Kenya from New York to nurse a broken heart. Staying with her godmother, a member of the infamous Happy Valley set, she meets Phil Forsyth, a notorious bachelor with a cattle farm close to the connections to the Maasai tribe. But after a shocking discovery and with war looming, Cecily has few options. Moving to the Wajane village, she is isolated and alone until she meets a young woman in the woods and makes a promise that will change her life forever. I hope I like this. I'm quite scared by this, but it does look really good. So it's very big, and apparently my mum said she liked it, but she does get annoyed by Electra. So let's see how I do on that one. Now the next one is my BookTube friend's favourite author, and I chose a book that Jack from Spread Bookjoy talked about, and this is October by Katya Bellin. Apparently she's one of Jack's favourite authors. It's middle grade. I've got one more middle grade to read. And obviously October, gotta read in October. My sister Charlie from Charlie Book Reads gave this to me. October and her dad live in the woods. They sleep in a house their dad built for them. And they know all the trees and rocks and the lake and the stars like best friends. They live in the woods and they are wild. And that's the way it is. Till the year October turns 11, that's the year October rescues a baby owl. It's the year that the dad falls out of the biggest tree and goes to hospital. The year that the woman who calls herself October's mother comes back. The year everything changes. This looks really good. It's not long, but it does look really good. It's just over 200 pages. I could have read it for Shorty September, but it's an October book, for crying out loud. Looks really good. Actually, what did I say? It's 280, so it's less than 300 pages, so that's fine. Then a book in honour of Charlie from Charlie Book Reads, because it's her birthday in October. So I wanted a fun one that I'm going to be reading round about her birthday to remind us of growing up. It's Jason Donovan's autobiography. Now, those of you that are our age will know that sort of in the late 80s, early 90s, Jason Donovan, Kylie Minogue, I had the biggest crush on him. He was in Neighbours. There is some secrets that I might give up in October about me and Charlie, but safe to say, it was our era. I'll say it now. Me and Charlie used to sing like "Especially for You," and it was like our song, and I loved him. Every time I still see him on all the TV, I just kind of makes my heart melt. It makes me go back to the childhood when he was like, we all had crushes on him, and I loved him in I'm a Celebrity. I loved him in certain other shows, and I think he just kind of brings me back to my youth. It's like a cosy thing. So this is kind of like a silly thing that we used to like. So in honour of Charlie, I'm reading this. He did have a hard time. I think apparently he had a nervous breakdown. He had a life-threatening drug habit. He had a real hard time, and he had it really hard. And this is his story, so I kind of want to read that. It's got pictures of him. His daughter's in Hollyoaks at the moment, I believe. He's still around, which is amazing. We don't hear so much about Kylie Minogue, but you know, he's still around. Back in the day, it was like, just a fun, cosy kind of thing. Now to a bit more serious is obviously I've got some books that are kind of Victober related. You'll see when I talk about them. So the first one is Diabolical Bones by Bella Ellis. And I've got this series, I'm collecting the series, and it's like the Bronte sisters retellings of like mystery elements, and it's like dark and gothic-y and wintry. It's 1845 and Howard lives in the grip of freezing winter. Charlotte, Emily and Anne are rather losing interest in detecting until they hear the shocking discovery. The bones of a child have been found interned in the walls of a local house, Topwithens Hole, home to brutish Bradshaw family. When the sisters decided to find out more, they're confronted with a dark, increasingly complex and sinister case, leading them to the dark world of workhouses and poor schools. The Bronte sisters are about to face their most despicable adversary yet, one that would not hesitate to cause them the gravest of harm. Ooh, bloody excited by that. Cannot flipping wait. Now to another chunky book, but another book that everyone read. It won this award, Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. I hate this copy, but the paperback edition. I would much rather the hardback. The hardback was a lot, and I thought to hold it would have been hard. I actually think to hold this is going to be a bloody nightmare. Everyone knows about Demon Copperhead. It's a retelling of obviously David Copperfield, so I kind of wanted to save it for Victober. It's set in like the alpacas of Virginia. It's got poverty and addiction, that it's got like really, everyone knows it. And Demon's story begins with the traumatic birth to a single mother in a single wide trailer, looking like a little blue prize fighter. A life ahead of him, he'll need all that fighting spirit along with the buckets of charm, quick wit and some unexpected talents, legal and otherwise. Everyone knows about Demon Copperhead. Everyone loved it. It's people's favourite book of the year. It's about 500 pages. I'm looking forward to finally getting to it. Then to a YA kind of book that the lovely Jem from Gemma Books got me this for my birthday last year. And it's My Name is Victoria by Lucy Worsley. So it's kind of like a YA story about about Princess Victoria. So I thought Victorian era. Miss V. Conroy is quiet as a mouse and good at keeping secrets, but when she becomes Princess Victoria's companion, she finds she can no longer stay in the shadows. Victoria lives under a strict set of rules that making her very unhappy, and she insists that Miss V's beloved father is to blame. Torn between loyalty to her father and the growing friendship with the willful and passionate princess, Miss V has a decision to make: to continue in silence or to speak out. This looks really good fun. Then to another like kind of gothic-y YA book. This is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. This is about Florence Day, who's a ghostwriter with a big problem. She's supposed to be penning a swoon-worthy novels for the famous romance author, but after a bad breakup, Florence no longer believes in love. And when her strict but undeniably hot new editor, Benji Andor, refuses to give her an extension on a book-like deadline, Florence prepares to kiss her career goodbye. But when tragedy strikes, Florence has to head home. The last thing she expects is to see the ghost at her front door, and not just any ghost, but the stern form of her still very hot, but now unquestionably dead new editor. This looks good. Really good fun. Again, it's another short one. It's like just about 350 pages. It looks fun. Then to a book I bought randomly at Waterstones a while ago, but it kind of looked gothic-y and wintry. And this is Pandora by Susan Stokes Chapman. This is a beautiful edition. I can't remember. It's set in London in 1799. Dora Blake lives with her uncle in what used to be the parents' famed shop of antiquities. When a famous Greek vase is delivered, Dora is intrigued by her uncle's suspicious behaviour and enlists the help of Edward Lawrence, a young antiquarian scholar. For Edward, the ancient vase is a key to unlocking his professional future. For Dora, it's a chance to restore the shop to its former glory. But when Edward discovers about the vase, has Dora questioning everything she believes about her life, her family, and even the world she knows. Ooh, gothic-y, kind of dark. Looks good. Then to my only pink book of the month, Charlie from Charlie But Rude's picked this for me. Love Me, Love Me Not by Kirsty Capes. I loved Careless. Careless was one of my favourite books of last year. Love Me, Love Me Not is her latest book, and I got it new, and I'm waiting for it in paperback. I know that Alice has only just read this. Lucy Banbury isn't the sort of person that everyone gets along with. She's prickly and secretive, and she likes things ordered just so, but things couldn't be going better for her. She swims 3 times a week. She's on the cusp of a huge promotion at work and she's dating someone perfect on paper. And then when she discovers at a family wedding that she's adopted, her whole world is shattered. Those cracks she's taken years to plaster over are beginning to surface, and she's not sure how much longer she can keep her secrets hidden. This looks amazing. No, not, don't think that's very long either. No, again, less than 400 pages, that's nice. And then again, a sort of war-y kind of book, but I wanted historical fiction. This is newish out. I got it from my charity shop. While Paris Slept by Ruth Durant. Again, this is set in 2 different timelines. You've got one set in Paris in 1944, and a young woman's future is torn away in a heartbeat. Herded on a train bound for Auschwitz, in an act of desperation, she entrusted her most precious possession to a stranger. Now all she has left is hope. And then you've got the other timeline, which is in Santa Cruz in 1953. Jean-Luc thought he'd left it all behind. The scar on his face is a small price to pay for surviving the Nazi occupation. Now, as a new life in California, a family, he never expected his past to come knocking on the door. This just looks really good. Can't wait. And then lastly, a kind of classic. I wanted a sort of classic for Victober, but it's a modern classic, and that's A Stitch in Time by Penelope Lively. I know Jack has talked about this. It's like, it just looks kind of Victorian-ish, but I know it's a modern classic. And this is Maria is always getting lost in the secret world of her imagination. So when she begins to hear things that no one else does, she's not sure if they're real. Then Maria finds a Victorian embroidered picture and feels a strange connection with the 10-year-old girl Harriet, who stitched it. As Maria becomes more absorbed in Harriet's work, she fears that something tragic took place. This looks good. Apparently, and it's got a special note from Michelle McGorian, who wrote that, so this looks really good. So those are the books I'm reading. If you add, I don't want to think about the numbers. If you add this to my Victober TBR, I think it's like 19 or 20 books. But I know I can get through them. I'm really excited about these. Which ones do you think I should prioritise? Which ones do you think that are, if there are any of these that you've heard about or you want to tell me about, let me good. I'm doing this thing now where obviously if you get to the end of the video, leave an emoji. I think leave a witchy or Halloweeny emoji in the comments. If you don't want to leave a comment, you just want to leave an emoji, leave like a witchy or Halloweeny kind of emoji. That'd be quite good fun. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, not subscribed yet, bring on my ding-a-ling, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.